Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet. So happy to join you for a very special Wellness Insights, where we will dive into wellness and especially wellness tourism with WITT, the Wellness in Travel and Tourism, providing a very thorough and structured framework for you to turn as hotels and resorts to translate wellness into authentic, operationally integrated guest experiences. Wellness has grown exponentially into a defining element of modern hospitality experiences. And as guest expectations continue to evolve, hotels and resorts are increasingly seeking clear, credible, and especially measurable ways to define and elevate their wellness offering. So with wellness in travel and tourism, we have the tools now that World Wellness Weekend is happy to share with its network of over 11,000 venues in 187 countries, so that with today's conversation, you can understand as hotel and resorts operators how to strengthen your offering, how to differentiate your property, and especially how to meet the growing demand for authentic wellness travel experiences. So without further ado, let's welcome Oksana Spivey, the Vice President of Wellness Standards and Education at WITT. We also have Van Vu, the hotel manager at acclaimed Fusion Resort Villas Da Nang in Vietnam, which, by the way, was a wellness hero of the World Wellness Weekend in 2025. We also have Erica Block, the Director of Communication at Woodloch Legacy Resort Collection, with the Lodge, the Resorts, and the Springs, three amazing properties so close to New York, having voted for 4 years in a row #1 family destination. We also have not one, but two executives from the Westin Copley Place in Boston. We have Natalie Fiorello and Alex Musgrove, both working with sustainability and wellness. Ladies, thank you so very much for joining us. And we also have the pleasure of having Robin Ruiz, joining us, the president of the Wellness Tourism Association. I would like to start with you directly, Oksana, if we may, so that you can give us an overview of the amazing tools that you have created with WTA, with WITT.
Oh, hello, everyone. Hello, Jean-Guy. Thank you so much for inviting all of us to this very needed and important conversation around wellness in hospitality, specifically based on WITT certification in our case. So let me just set the stage for the conversation and go very briefly through what WITT certification is, what core wellness standards are, and how they are implemented step by step, so you have an overview of what we're discussing today here. So WITT stands for Wellness in Travel and Tourism, and it's the leading independent certification dedicated to evaluating and recognizing hotels, resorts, retreats, wide range of properties in serving authentic wellness experience and offerings all together at every touch point of guest experience. This certification is focusing on all types of properties. It can be a rural, urban setting. It can be a small eco-lodge. It can be beautiful luxury retreat. It really, truly does not matter what type of budget and type of property and location, as long as the intention and focus is on providing true, authentic wellness guest experience to your travelers. So we focus on a very wide range of properties. The certification is based on 5 pillars of wellness. We evaluate based on these 5 pillars that are covering healthy eating, holistic healing, nature, movement, and local impact. These 5 pillars were built on wellness standards, global wellness standards, that what the organization realized when we looked at the industry, that there was no unified language, unified understanding for travelers to go by when they're searching for that property to stay, whether on business travel or on their, rejuvenating trip with their family in the, beautiful resort. So the global standards consist of 300 plus criteria, but the evaluation part that we use for certification based on 100 plus criteria. And those 100 plus criteria were built on the framework of these 5 pillars of wellness. So if you are a property and you are watching us right now, just think about what your property delivers and how it delivers when it comes to healthy eating, holistic healing, nature, movement, and local impact. Very briefly, these steps to get certified, the property who's interested, they apply, they go through self-assessment process. The property receives feedback from WITT. After that, we request a questionnaire, we request supporting documents. When we receive that, we schedule an audit, a virtual audit. When we receive the audit, we receive the documentation, all the answers that we are looking for. We prepare a comprehensive report, audit evaluation score report. Property is given a report, property is given a score. All of that is internal information. It's not exposed to the public, but it's for property to work with. We also, we highlight what was found in the audit process and evaluation. We also share areas of excellence that property can truly highlight in their promotional announcements, and areas of where the work needs to be still done when it comes to wellness in hospitality. If property meets the criteria, beautiful, we award with a seal with an array of benefits. If property doesn't pass, we still extend a complimentary consulting hour where we go through details, work with the property on what needs to be shifted, adjusted, changed in order to be to meet the requirements. Property is given a choice to work on it themselves or work with us. And then after addressing the changes, property comes back and we review the changes. So that's kind of the process. It's very straightforward. It typically takes from 3 weeks to 3 months, depends on the property's level and our, queue. When property first submits application self-assessment form, that self-assessment form acts as entrance point into the certification. Pretty much it identifies if property meets the very minimum core requirement to be approved, I guess, in a sense, to continue the evaluation, because not every property can begin the process. They still need some work if they really want to become wellness. They need to utilize our core wellness standards that are listed on our website. It's publicly available, to see what do we need to address in order to be considered a wellness property or to apply for the certification. And it's all listed there. Right now it's 12 criteria that are part of our 100 plus criteria evaluation. We also reward properties that commit to the delivering authentic wellness and to certification. The initial term the term for the certification is 3 years. If property decides to recertify after 3 years, from WITT certified properties, property becomes WITT certified gold. Then after 6 years of committing to authentic wellness certification, property gains achievement status of platinum and then diamond. So we truly want to award properties that are truly focusing on wellness. This is not an achievement in, luxury or like we're used to see stars. It's strictly focusing on wellness offerings at every touch point of guest experience. It can be a beautiful luxury spot, place. It can be a very small boutique hotel somewhere in the country. So, and of course, certification comes with benefits as well. There are digital benefits, there are physical benefits, there's support, there's consulting. So there are an array of benefits when property becomes certified. And we give, as you can see with us today, we have properties that have been certified. They're all been certified at different timing. But we continuously stay in touch and we work with properties to amplify their presence, of course, and also ensuring that we're always notify of any changes that are happening within wellness standards. We work with a Wellness Standard Advisory Committee. We have a beautiful, powerful team right now that is guiding our global wellness standards and leading this mission forward. So this is kind of the basic overview of certification and also what core wellness standards are. They're the entrance point into the certification, and they're also a guiding pathway how to begin the path to become a wellness property, whether it's hotel, retreat, resort. And now I would love to begin conversation with our WITT certified properties. It's very exciting for me to have them join us. Today I just want to very briefly go through what we will touch upon when we speak to these beautiful ladies today. What hotels can expect throughout the certification process, real-world implementation insights from WITT certified properties, operational learnings and practical outcomes, and the growing impact that wellness has on guest experience and how we really seeing it from the properties. And also I will touch upon at the end of the webinar about WITT accredited professional program that we also extend to properties, to any professionals. It's a training, it's a first ever accreditation in wellness and hospitality and travel, and we'll speak about it in a bit.
Absolutely. So, we will touch on it a little later on, because there's going to be a whole webinar on this topic for accredited professionals on June 17, another Wellness Insights with you, Oksana. This is so important to have international standards validated, assessed, and clear criteria for properties to be evaluated and then to be announced as wellness properties. So many massage places call themselves spas. So many hotels and resorts call now themselves wellness hotel, wellness resort, wellness retreat. And the word has been used and sometimes misused. So it is essential, especially coming from a body of accreditation like yours and the wellness and the wellness tourism association, wellness travel association, to really embody the vision of making sure that from an idea of having standards, there is now a reality of over 200 properties that are accredited, that are going this path, and that yes, 5 pillars are seen. And for those of you joining us today from the World Wellness Weekend, you will know also that we go by 5 pillars with the quality of sleep that you have and the creativity that you have the following morning, good night's sleep, the decisions you make with nutrition, and not just to lose weight or enjoy food, but also for your brain with brain food, movement and vitality, mindfulness and serenity, and as you mentioned it, the impact on community with sense of purpose and solidarity. So let's, as you said, Oksana, let's hear it from the accredited properties. And let's start with you, Vaughn, if we may. What, if you may unmute yourself, what motivated Fusion in Da Nang, Fusion Resort in Da Nang, in Vietnam, to pursue the WITT certification? And what was the pivoting moment in your journey that made that decision an action to be taken?
Hi everybody. Good evening from Da Nang, Vietnam. And first of all, thank you very much for having me as part of this webinar today. Back to the question. Fusion Resort and Villas Da Nang is a relatively a new resort, having opened in 2024. And from the very beginning, the Fusion brand already starting with the design and the construction phase, when the wellness has always been at the heart of who we are and how the resort was envisioned. So our resort is home to Maya Spa and Wellness Center. And over the past 2 years from the opening, we have been very proud to receive meaningful recognition from our guests, from our business partners and industry peers. And these achievements encourage us to take a next step in strengthening our wellness journey and continuing to elevate the guest experience in a more thoughtful and holistic way. So that is a perfect moment after almost 2 years in our operation and get a reputation and get recognition from our guests and from our guests and business partners. So WITT certification came at the right moment because it provided us with a structure framework to measure and strengthen the wellness across the entire guest journey, from spa, movement to nutrition, sleep quality, sustainability, community connection, emotional well-being, and the service culture. So become Vietnam's first WITT certified resort is not only a milestone for Fusion Resort and Villas Da Nang, but also for us, it is a meaningful step in positioning Da Nang and Vietnam as an emerging wellness destination in Asia. So that is biggest motivation for the property, for the destination, and also for the country.
Indeed, indeed, and Fusion Resorts and are definitely a landmark in the hospitality ecosystem in Vietnam, with outstanding properties like Cam Ram and also Alba Wellness Valley by Fusion. So there are definitely some iconic properties within the Fusion group. I was wondering, before we hear from Erica in the US, the WITT certification is not just boxes you tick. It's a process you go through that gives you another perspective on operations, how you're running them, and how did that process make you see differently about your existing clients?
Well, definitely, the certification process gave us a much deeper understanding of wellness as a complete ecosystem rather than a collection of individual experiences in different departments. That is very important. Because maybe before our focus was naturally centered the wellness around spa and wellness activities, and rather than a whole journey in all the guest touch points. So through the WITT framework, we began to look more carefully on how wellness is reflected in every guest touch point. Including the staff well-being, the sustainability practices in the community, also the overall atmosphere, the energy the guests experience throughout their stay in each area, in each department. It also encourages much stronger collaboration across all the departments. The wellness is not no longer seen as only the responsibility of the spa, the wellness team, or come from this department, but it has become a shared mindset embraced by front office, culinary, housekeeping, recreation, all the departments, and then all the associates that interacting with the guests and actually with each other, including also finance, also HR. During the process, we also train the staff, train all the back of house, train all the front of house. And after the process, after the WITT, we continue to have all the practices to ensure the well-being is the connection between all the departments. So yep, the process reinforced the idea that genuine wellness hospitality is not about creating something for the guests, but it's also the well-being of the whole team, front of house, back of house, everybody. And I think that is the biggest impact that the process brought to our property.
Thank you, Van, for highlighting this, because for us, it was truly a decisive factor when I saw the standards, when I saw the evaluation process, and when I saw the potential for a truly transformational journey for the team with WITT and with all of the groundwork that WTA had implemented. That is remarkable that you can identify this and that you can embody this with the team. Wellness is not just a tag word. It is definitely part of the strategy. It's a wellness-powered strategy that is touching all of the departments and should permeate into the culture of all of the departments. Back to you, Erica. Let's fly very quickly without the jet lag from Vietnam to New York State. How did your team prepare? Because Woodloch Resort, Woodloch Springs, the lodge at Woodloch, already recognized by publications like USA Today with the Reader's Choice Awards for the fourth year in a row. We may think that you're all set, iconic places, family owned, already acclaimed. You're all set. You can go. But you really wanted to go into this elevated conversation and elevated standards. How do your team prepare internally, and what had to change once the evaluation started?
Thank you very much for having me today. And I'll just clarify one thing. We're in Pennsylvania, close to New York, but about 2 hours from New York City. So a lot of guests who come, from the city and urban areas across the world from Vietnam. Again, pleasure to be here. So there was a lot of excitement. I had heard about WITT through another wellness conference that I had attended, and I thought this is something we really need to be a part of. And it was spoken so highly of. And as we've spoken here today, there's so many properties, that say we're wellness properties, we're spas. But I think the WITT standards and those core pillars are what sets, any WITT properties apart. So we looked at those core pillars, the 5 pillars: the healthy eating, holistic healing, nature, movement, and local impact is what we started with internally. And we had our different departments and, cross-functionally look at those standards and see, okay, what do we need to work on? Where are we doing what we need to do? How do we expand the framework? And I think Van had said it so perfectly, that it really is, an ecosystem of everyone. So it's not just the spa, it's not just the, front desk, it's everyone working together. Here at the Lodge at Woodloch, at our destination spa, we have so many different departments. So everything from the spa amenities, such as, saunas, jacuzzis, steam rooms. We have the therapists for the treatments. We have a full outdoor department. We have a full culinary department, we have art classes, we have our rooms. So it's getting everyone on board and looking at what each department does, that contributes to the full wellness package. And we were able to sort of conduct, an audit internally to see where each team, plays into those 5 pillars. And then that allowed us to sort of, bring it all together and be like, okay, here's what we have to, tweak here. And maybe this connects to this. And yeah, I think it goes from everything from, our chef in the culinary department. We have our own farm to table garden here with our own pharmacist Derek, who leads, garden tours, and all of that. What's grown at the garden then goes into the meals here. And we offer forest bathing. People can go outside and do meditation. And so it's bringing all of that together into one sort of singular process and covering those 5 pillars.
Was there something specific in the certification process that is now influencing how your team is integrating wellness on a daily basis?
That is a great question. I think actually internally is the biggest thing, how the team communicates with one another and between departments. So everyone, works in their own departments, but I think this really allowed each team to see what everyone else is doing a little bit better and allow for the working together and the cross functionality of each department. So, we know the chef does this, we know the outdoors team does this, we know the farm does this, but seeing how we could work together to better deliver the experience and translate that to the guest so that they can move sort of seamlessly from one department to another and still get that whole WITT experience with the 5 pillars.
Indeed. Well, thank you. Thank you, Erica. Now turning to Alex and Natalie from Marriott International, and especially specifically with your property with Westin, because Marriott International was the most active hotel group in the world for World Wellness Weekend last year, with 187 properties globally celebrating the 3-day activation on the 3rd weekend of September. So really kudos to you, to Suzanne, to Patty in the US, to Arcadius in Asia Pacific, and all of the teams that participated. But let's dive right in. What was the right moment for you to engage yourself in a WITT certification, or as we say, a WITT certification?
Yes. Well, hello from Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you for having us. My name is Alex. I'm the Director of Marketing here at the Westin Copley Place, and my colleague Natalie Fiorello is our Assistant Director of Group Sales, and we're very happy to be with you this morning. Now, what made it right for us in this current moment is we are a Westin hotel, and the Westin brand is all about wellness. And so there were so many synergies between the WITT certification and our wellness pillars. So all Westin hotels around the world are anchored around the same 6 wellness pillars, which are eat well, feel well, sleep well, move well, play well, and work well. And so knowing that our 6 pillars, again, had so much synergy with the WITT certification, we felt that, we have the right players on property right now to bring this to life and actualize it. And so just from learning about Oksana and her team and the certification, we decided, let's put ourselves out there. We're an urban property, so it might be a little bit more difficult, but we're, always looking for ways to differentiate ourselves. And we decided, let's take the plunge and see where it takes us. And so we're happy to have gotten the certification and made some really strategic changes here on property to bring it to life.
From the conceptual to the operational, what had to align for you internally?
Yes. So Natalie and I work in sales and marketing. So we sell and market the dream, but then we have to rely on our operational team to bring it to life. So it was absolutely an all hands on deck effort between our purchasing team, our housekeeping team, our food and beverage and culinary team. So it really took everyone to come together and align on the goal to bring it to life. So we are very fortunate that our executive chef here, his name is Everton. He is vegan and he really, really cares about where we're sourcing our food from, the ecological footprint in which it takes to get the food from the farm here. So, in having such strong leadership that cares about wellness and sustainability, he helped get everyone else on board from an operations standpoint to really drive our certification forward. So, relying on your operational partners when it's time to execute and making sure they understand the why behind the certification is what helped us get from conceptualization to across the finish line, if you will.
Thank you. I know a lot of people attending this call want to dive into implementation, operational integration. We'll dive there in a quick second. But before we do, Oksana, I'd love to hear from you once again. How long usually does the certification journey last? Now that you have some data from 200 plus properties that have been certified.
So it varies. We typically give a period between 3 weeks up to 3 months. It needs to stay within 3 months because we want everything to be relevant. We don't want to re-audit things that, drag along. So up to 3 months, but on average, property has been certified, I would say 4 or 5 weeks on average, I would say, but up to 3 months.
Okay. Well, thank you. So this time I'd like to go straight to Erica, and then we'll hear again from Natalie or Alex, and we'll get back to Vietnam. Erica, there's such potential and there's such realization with your 3 properties already. And if you can unmute yourself as I go with the question, you are already known for excellence. So what did WITT help you formalize or structure that was already there informally?
Sure. We're very, very fortunate to have an incredible team here. I always say that is what truly sets us apart across the board. We're in a small area, a very rural area of Northeast Pennsylvania. Most of our staff members, we have over 1,200 staff members. Most of our staff members are from the area, and are really passionate about what they do. They take a lot of pride in what they do and the experience that they offer to guests. A lot of guests coming in who are looking for, respite, reset. So I think we're so fortunate to have that to start. And that passion, that drive to offer guests the best experience possible, the best vacation possible, is a great start. But again, the bringing in WITT and the core pillars, we had sort of a ground to start on between departments to discuss, okay, we have this great starting point, but how do we build that out even more? And we have a number of experts across the board, everything from, I've mentioned a few, our culinary department, our pharmacist, we have an herbalist, we have a shamanic healer, we have yoga experts, we bring presenters in on the weekends, who range from everything from, women's health to medium. So wide variety of staff members' expertise, bringing that together in one holistic way, using those core pillars, rather than, doing it piece by piece, which I think is sort of where we started until we went through the process of accreditation, and being able to cross-communicate and sort of articulate how the experience connects and how the guests can move through it.
Excellent. Thank you. Natalie or Alex, you do things extremely well with Westin. 6 pillars consistently delivered in the US and internationally. Well done for that. So you go through a certification process, and the initial evaluation feedback comes back. Was there, and if one of you can unmute your mic as I go through the question, so the evaluation feedback comes in. Was there any major operational adjustment that you had to make in your operations going forward and having access to that piece of information?
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon. As Alex mentioned, my name is Natalie Furiello. I'm the Assistant Director of Group Sales at the Westin Copley, and we worked hand in hand very closely at getting the WITT, which is why we both joined today. But yeah, great question. We did have to recertify for this property, which is a great learning for us and just helped us be better at what we're already doing. I think for this property, the reason why we really wanted to take this step for the WIT was because of who we are. We're an urban downtown hotel. So you wouldn't typically think that operationally, maybe we would have something like a WIT, given we have no outdoor space, no like gardens or rooftops. So what are we doing inside the building to really make sure that we're passing and making sure that we are a hotel that's completely certified and executing the WIT to its standards? And because we have those amazing pillars, it was something that already aligned. But it was more between operational, getting the team on board, but also enhancing the property on some areas that we were already doing, but we weren't necessarily doing it good enough. So, for example, marketing more around the property and within the guest experience, and training our associates to remind them of discounted classes we have in the area, of our local farmers market that we have across the street. And then also adding our wellness lounge that we added this past year really helped us jump over that finish line, called the Recovery Lounge. And we also added a robotic A-Scape massager in there, which has also really helped us adding the massage piece and then bringing our staff up to speed, because that's not handled by Alex and I. That is all front desk and concierge experience. So it's having them trained, executing, selling it to the guests. So not only is it a great avenue for guest experience, because they're, at the front line selling and making sure this is being executed properly, but it's also a great tool for the hotel ancillary revenue wise, which I will get into a little bit later. But those are some of the things we did, and, then married it with our operations team to execute. This is an 800 room hotel with 54,000 square feet of space. So it's a big property. So being able to kind of marry the two and get everybody on board, singing the same tune, especially with the sustainability that we already have in play that Alex was mentioning, the locally sourced menus, and making sure that that was fully executed from every department is really what made us so successful, and adding those few enhancements to the property.
Indeed, Natalie, lots of things to cover, and especially interesting example, because we may think hotels, resorts, a little bit of the background behind Oksana, lush nature, beaches, but you are definitely city in a city, so it's way more urban. Therefore, there must have been, yes, this necessary adjustments. Before we move on to Van Vu, and no, as we move on with Van, we will touch definitely on the business impact that you started to allude to, Natalie. So, Van, from an operational standpoint, what was for you the most significant system or process change that you implemented to align with the WITT wellness standards?
Yeah. Well, during the process, we have made quite a lot of changes, I must say, which, of course, to focus more on the wellness journey from pre-arrival until the guest checking out. And we have done a lot of changes in different departments, in different guest touch point. From before arrival, our expanded our wellness activity programming. We also introduced more options, healthy dining, vegetarian, refine the in-room wellness amenities, all the changes. But the most significant change that we had during the process was the staff awareness and engagement, which is, as you know, Maybe before it focused only one or two departments. So now it's not easy to have to train to everybody and have all the staff, back of house, front of house, to be aware, to know about wellness, what we are doing in the resort, and to have their engagement in that. So we work on building a stronger internal wellness culture, so our associates could better understand and genuinely embody the wellness philosophy themselves. So that wellness become truly meaningful when it is naturally reflected through the people, our team members, when they're delivering the service every day. So I think the biggest changes, the most impactful changes will be that on the team, apart from all the changes that we did in terms of the setup and services, right?
Thank you, Van. It is true that we see sometimes hotels, resorts that count a lot on their sense of place, the nature, the location. But it is truly the team that is delivering the experience. You can have a beach experience, you can have a forest bathing experience, as Erica mentioned, but the true guest experience makers are the team on every level in every department. Having them fully on board is not just adding a wellness name on a property, it's truly the wellness experience on every touch point of the guest journey.
Yes, and yeah. And also, for example, in order to make them to understand and also embody all the activities, all the things that we are doing, we also organize wellness activities, healthy dining on the weekly basis for the staff. And in the beginning, in order to get them their engagement, to get them participate in the activities in different programs that we are doing, it was also is not easy. But little by little, when we share the outcomes, etc., then more and more the staff to join, and that when they leave that and they practice daily, then it will become naturally, and the guests will feel that energy. And the process does not stop by achieving the WITT certification. We continue at the Maya Spa and Wellness Center. We continue to invest in recovery focused and holistic wellness experiences. And as shared with Osana recently, we just recently to put in addition to our wellness inclusive spa concept, the red well light therapy room, which is an addition to what we had to support the relaxation, the recovery, and the sleep quality of our guests through non-invasive red and near-infrared light therapy.
Thank you, Van. Natalie left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger, soon revealing the business impact of everything that has been done. So we will get back to Natalie in a second. But before we do that, Oksana, is there moments in the certification process where you jump in, and if you can unmute yourself, where you jump in to help with the operational integration? Van said, it's every department, and sometimes the person jumping to be the project leader for the certification may need a little bit of support from you and from the team at WITT.
Yes, we actually always open to questions. Our properties can assure. We have open communication when we requesting information, requesting answers on our questions. That whole process is already part of the whole, process. So properties can ask any questions they want up until we're done with the consultation, a complimentary consultation call where we discuss what can be changed, what needs to be changed, what is great. So yeah, we work with properties on throughout the whole process. If they want to continue working with us deeper after certification is done, we can also assist with consulting. as well. But otherwise, all our help and work during the process is all part of the service that we extend. And of course, after that, it's continuous partnership with our properties on any updates that we have or they have.
Makes sense. Absolutely. So I'm conscious of time and we have a little more than 10 minutes. And I imagine that everyone following this conversation wants to understand that, of course, it's not certification for certification's sake. It's to have a positive impact that is measurable. When it's structured the way it is with WITT, it needs to be measured. If not, it cannot be truly appreciated. So back to you, Natalie or Alex. Since achieving the certification at the Westin Boston, what shifts have you seen in the commercial value, in the partnerships, in the external recognitions? Is there anything you can tell us about the ADR or the RevPAR if it's relevant?
Yeah, so I'm going to take this one again. So working in sales, I work very closely with, what's going on, where are we at with the STAR index and all of those amazing, checkpoints that we're always looking at for ownership. So listen, this year is a very challenging year in Boston. FIFA World Cup has not helped us. So I can't speak to, RevPAR, and ADR at this time, only being certified for 6 months plus, the question mark around what's going on with FIFA. So we aren't seeing a typical year here in Boston. So, it wouldn't be fair to use how the property is doing this year. But I will say that when you say tracking, that's a huge thing we do at this property. And Alex and I actually go to our executive meeting every single month, and we both track exactly what the property is bringing in through all of our wellness initiatives, because some are charged, some are not, and where are we seeing ancillary revenue, and we're tracking that full year. So hopefully by the end of the year, I have some really great numbers. We are on a great track so far this year, seeing numbers we haven't seen yet, just due to the fact that we've enhanced the property wellness wise. And this has really impacted future business. So that's really the biggest thing for us, is really looking at site inspections and group site tours and enhancing the site experience, which I also had the pleasure of allowing Oksana to experience how we would do a site at the property. So having things like our wellness menu displayed and bringing them into the lounge and talking to them how they can do a guided run and walk for a fee around Boston, downtown proper. I actually lead the Run Weston program here, which is part of the property, which again led us to get the certification. So, some of those things have really helped us put business on the books future years, and is really what we're seeing customers ask for. They're asking for those things. So it's helping us not only now make some ancillary revenue, make an impact, make a positive guest experience, especially in a very challenging year, but it's also helping us layer in business future. And the reason this is so important for this property is, one, the size of it. We always are looking at future years. But two is that we are actually one of the older properties right now in terms of a renovation in our space and those types of items. So having these amazing accolades to talk about when we're siting with clients and really just getting them interested about the hotel and get them really thinking outside the box of what's going to make the best guest experience for them to experience Boston like a local, but also having them be healthy on the road. That's really been a really big differentiator for us to talk about this against our comp set, because I can tell you my 2 neighboring properties just went through major renovations, but we are still winning sites over them and still driving a higher ADR and booking more business to them. There are 2 Marriott, so we see exactly what they're booking, more than them. And I truly think it's because of some of our accolades that we have, such as the WITT certification, that really helps us out. So that's some of the things that we've seen, and I'm very excited to continue to track this and looking forward to the success of the property, ancillary revenue and beyond, as we layer group business and we continue to see wellness on the rise with our travelers and what they're asking for, because we can do it all in-house, and that's a benefit for the group and for those transient travelers.
I'd like to say, Natalie and Alex, I'd like to, of course, congratulate all of you for taking the WITT certification. But Natalie and Alex, listening to you in such a clear way, we see how WITT and WTA and you with Westin are taking this conversation about wellness and the impact of wellness on the total revenue per stay, the extended length of stay, and measuring the the elements you can control at the hotel with your product, with your offer, your experiences, and the elements you cannot control in an environment where FIFA plays in, where the weather plays in, where sometimes politics play in, especially when I think of the number of Canadians that were traveling south to the northeast, and now 20% less from certain measures. So there is definitely an impact in things you can control and cannot. And we'll jump with on the conversation with Erica in a second. It is such a pleasure to hear that you are taking those elements that Oksana presented with WITT to the executive meetings, that all of the departments can see the actual impact, that you can have conversations that are really raised with metrics and not just, it's a beautiful photo, it says wellness, we'll add the word, and we'll have this or that. We'll just sprinkle a few wellness modalities in the menu and job done. So many are doing this, not enough anymore, where guests are sometimes more savvy than the teams receiving them. Because the guests have the time and the budget to experience those wellness offers with your comp set, whereas sometimes the teams in one property do not have the time and the leisure and the money to experience this. So really, well done. Kudos to you. Erica, well done for unmuting your mic. We have a few more minutes, so it will be like not just a fireside conversation, but straight throwing straight the question and having the answer. The WITT certification is helping with the evaluation, with the internal conversation, as you said. How did it help to clarify your positioning or strengthen your differentiation with the available luxury wellness offering around you?
Sure. As the director of communications, I handle PR and influencer marketing here at Woodlock, and so this portion of this question really excites me. And as I mentioned before, when I heard about WITT, I was so excited about this third-party validation in a category where the word wellness can mean almost anything. So we're seeing it tossed around. The wellness industry is huge, but being measured against 100 criteria across 5 pillars signals to travelers that, we're not just doing this to do this. We've taken the time to really go through the audit to really know who we are, and we're being recognized internationally on a standard, many properties can apply, but it is those that are thoroughly vetted that do get the certification. And then, of course, that's an amazing talking point from a PR standpoint. And I'm part of the marketing team, so all of us in the marketing team and ownership as well, we're really excited about what we had accomplished, and that WITT had welcomed us into the program, and it does allow us to differentiate ourselves from other, maybe there are lots of luxury spa resorts out there, but I think this gives us the again, that third party validation and really dig into the depth of our wellness offerings, and the type of programming we can deliver across the board for the guest, on those 5 pillars.
Excellent. Time is running out, but these are such valuable information. Van, Natalie and Alex said that they're very new. The certification is very fresh, 6 months. For you, it's even fresher. If you can unmute yourself, Van, as I go through the question. For you, it's even fresher, only 5 months. But it seems that this has a real impact. Can you share some of the changes that you have seen in possibly guest demand, booking patterns, or interest in specific wellness-focused days?
Yeah. Well, although it has only 5 months since we becoming WITT certified, we have already seen very encouraging signals from both guests and our business partners. We see a noticeably stronger interest in wellness-focused experiences from our guests, we have received more requests from our guests who purposely travel and visit and stay with us with the wellness in mind. So they plan ahead the wellness activities, the spa inclusions, the experiences, the dining options, and also local cultural activities, which we integrate it, combine it together with other physical activities. So and not only individual travelers, we also receive retreats. A lot of retreats, they reach us to organize for them, and a lot of retreats, they have their own organizers, they have their own program, but select our property as the place they organize their own retreat. So definitely, yeah, we see that, yeah, having the achieve the certification have helped us a lot to uh, bring Fusion and our property to broader audiences.
Thank you.
And the WITT certification strengthens the guest confidence, definitely confidence, by providing trusted third-party validation of our wellness commitment. So we believe this increasingly influences how travelers choose the destination and choose a property when they decide they have made a decision about the destination. So because our resort always has been the wellness inclusive resort and have wellness as a core business, having this certification has helped us strengthen and focus more and give the trust to the guests and all the wellness practices and reaches organizer, business partner come to work with us as well. And we have already planned for the last 6 months of the year. Every month we have a wellness event in order not only for our guests, our property, but also for the community, because we see more opportunities coming and more collaboration coming to our resort.
Thank you, Van. And I imagine that September will be around World Wellness Weekend, and not just for the guests, but also for the colleagues and also for the local community. And this is what makes you definitely.
And that is one of our plan for the next 6 months as well.
Yes, of course, of course. So from fireside conversation to rapid fire conclusion, and then we will hear from Oksana for the final words, because we started with you and we will end with you, Oksana, at least for this conversation before we rejoin on June 17 to talk about the professional accredited program. But look, wellness tourism evaluated by Global Wellness Institute, roughly $900 billion and expanding at a rate seen like no other. So there are major shifts happening. And as a word of conclusion, maybe Alex, or you know what, Alex, Natalie, Erica, Van, in this order, and then Oksana, what is for you the single most important shift in the hospitality industry that you think we must make to truly deliver meaningful wellness experiences? What is your word of wisdom at your very advanced age, Alex, with your breadth of experience? What have you seen and what do you think we should do as an industry moving forward?
Yes, to wrap it up really quickly, I think the single most important thing with travelers right now is sustainability. I think sustainability and wellness go hand in hand together, and marrying the two together makes so much sense, because we can only, be as healthy and as well as our environments. And so by focusing on sustainability and working to source food items as close as we can to our property and working with local fisheries and doing things to make our world more sustainable, those are the things that travelers, both transient and group, are looking for in their travel experiences.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Alex. And maybe we can hear from Natalie, because you did mention something very important, Natalie. You mentioned that guests, visitors don't want to be referred as tourists, but live as temporary locals. So what do you see as a major shift with your eyes?
I think that just trying to tie into the local market. We already, do that with our Run Weston program. But then on top of that, some advice we got from Oksana was tying in with our farmers markets a little bit more. They're quite literally on the steps of the hotel because we sit on top of the Boston Public Library. And so this year we've already talked to our sustainability committee that we have at the hotel. It's made up of our own associates. Alex and I are both on it. And we're going to be working with them. It is seasonal. It's from May to like mid-November when it starts to get really cold here. And we are going to be working with them to be using some of their food items and sourcing with them in our own kitchen for VIP dishes / in our restaurant. So it's really just then tying that back and telling the story to our guests and allowing that to really pour into the property since it is quite literally outside of the doors. So I think that piece too, just really allowing the outside in a little bit more will really help us enhance that local experience.
Brilliant. Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Alex. Erica, let's hear it from you from Pennsylvania.
Yes, I was fortunate to be on another panel recently speaking a little bit about what's going to differentiate and set things, wellness apart moving forward. And I think it's investing in service and investing in the people as the differentiator as we move towards such a tech-forward society and AI starts to take over so many things. AI cannot replace a human and the human touch. And I think we see a lot of the desire for that as, through our guests, the way that they connect with our staff members and the way our staff members invest in our guests. That human connection, that human touch, and that personalization is something that, tech can't touch. So definitely that.
Absolutely. Thank you for reminding us that in the age of artificial intelligence, emotional intelligence is absolutely a differentiating factor. Van, famous last words before we hear the conclusion from Oksana.
Yeah, I think I'm going to repeat what Erica has mentioned. I think the wellness is not only offerings, not facilities, not the resort itself. It must be the ecosystem from from the services, from the facilities. But the most important is the human touch, the connection, the guest connection with the staff, the connection between the staff member to each other. And all this will create the energy, the vibe that the guests can feel. And if you have a perfect resort with nature, with all the facilities, and we also have that vibe, definitely it's a place to rest, the place to restore, and to connect with for the guests to connect with themselves or with the families or with the people they are traveling together. So yes, totally agree with Erica that it would be the most important, that a human touch. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for sharing so many real life experiences. And thank you, Oksana, for bringing this tremendous panel to share what WITT has already implemented, structured, delivered. So what's next? What would be your final words, Oksana, to still encourage more properties from the World Wellness Weekend and abroad to join on this truly transformative experience and journey?
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for hosting all of us, because this is an important conversation. More conversations like that we have, more we move, this movement forward, because every time I speak to our partner properties, certified properties, I'd say this is a teamwork. We all have to get together and improve how we travel. Yes, we have to live healthy, but if you live healthy, all of us probably do our best at that. But when we travel, we don't want to drop that at home. So if I stay in Manhattan or Boston, I want to be able to have hotels that accommodate how I eat, how I sleep, how I work. And if I'm traveling for complete rejuvenation, I want to find those hotels as well. So the point is that it's a teamwork. Thank you so much for joining us, all of you today. One last thing I want to say is, if any properties that are interested to apply to the certification, please email us at hello or you can go to our website, wittcertified.com. We have application there, or you simply email us at hello@wittcertified.com and just tell us you attended this webinar, and we will give you an exclusive cost for the application. We will give you 50% off, so we would like to extend that to you. And one other thing I would like to say before we go is to add to Van's statement, what was the most challenging element through the process is to really assist team with training and education. We have that element too, and that's something we will be discussing on June 17th, because we understood that as well, and we have a program that can help team to be trained on wellness standards, so they know what the property is delivering, how to talk. It's created a framework and similar language to speak about the certification and standards. So thank you so much. I am grateful for this conversation. I don't think I have anything else to say. We definitely can talk forever about this topic. It's one of my favorite topics. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Please join certification, because this is something that is so much bigger than initially appears to be, because this certification touches supply chain and other industries and local culture and local businesses. So there's so much more to just, let's say, being certified. It's a big community that is growing and that wants to thrive. So
Definitely a major impact. Oksana, thank you for raising the conversation. Alex, Natalie, Erica, Van, I'm truly grateful for your time today, for your insights, and I feel really confident that we are going in the right direction as a profession turned industry when I hear such detailed, descriptive, positive impact from the preparation, the certification, and the implementation. Thank you, all of you. The conversation continues, and we will see each other again, Oksana, on June 17 for the WITT Professional Accredited Program. Thank you so very much. All the best.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.